So we are focusing on the third soil mission objective that is related to urban soils in general. So specifically, it's about no-net soil sealing, so achieving no-net soil sealing in cities, and also reusing urban soil. So whenever the soil is removed for construction activities, how we can reuse it in other places instead of sending it to landfill as a waste. We put together a lot of experts in very different topics and very different fields. And what we realize is that, at least regarding to soil sealing, it's a complex problem. So we have very different interconnected aspects to take into account. So it's not just about setting regulations at the different levels or putting targets at the European level, but it's really about how people perceive this issue, how they make decisions at the individual level. For example, why is my neighbor sealing his garden? So you see, these different scales are really interconnected, and we need to think about this issue from very different perspectives. Also, the policies that are there for reducing, for example, new soil sealing, they might have trade-offs, for example, related to housing affordability or how much land is available for new development. So yeah, we really need to take into account of all these different angles when we address the issue. And I think this is one of the important things that we realized thanks to our team of experts in the think tank. Yeah, well, again, we collected many, indeed, but I think at the bottom, in a way, there's this difference between the different member states on how soil is included in the different legal frameworks, for example, and how the different definitions of soil sealing, land take, are taken up at the member state level. So we realize that we have a very different understanding of the topic, and how it has been incorporated in the different legal system across member states is also very different. So when we talk about these targets at the European level, we need to acknowledge that, well, in member states things are different. So we need some more homogenization at the European level, starting by the definition and by an understanding of how these issues are addressed already in the different countries, and what are the different opportunities there to intervene and to make things better. This that I mentioned is probably one of the issues that need to be addressed. On the other hand, well, it's also from the economic point of view. In many cases, it's not convenient to reuse or to redevelop, regenerate areas that were already used, or to deseal the areas that we don't need anymore. So the whole idea of the law is to achieve no-net soil sealing, which means that whenever you're creating new sealing, you also compensate this by desealing existing sealed areas. This is costly, and this is also from a technical level not so easy, and also we don't know how much different actions, desealing actions, are effective in the long run, because it's still kind of a new activity that has not been studied on the long-term perspective. So this is also something that from the research perspective is interesting to track and to understand and to monitor in the future. Well, we haven't really gone that far to discuss solutions, but I think so. We discuss a lot about how new policies can be designed to allow for the achievement of these objectives, and I think this is the key. And there are a lot of ideas and a lot of experiences already there, like taxation mechanisms, new compensation schemes, but all of them needs to be tested further, and also we need to understand better their broader implications, as I mentioned before, not just on the specific topic, but also on the more broader socioeconomic, more broader socioeconomic perspective. So yeah, for sure solutions will pass through new policies, the design of new policies, innovative schemes, but yeah, they need to be tested and monitored in their impact. The idea of putting together all these different expertise to work on the topic was really to ensure that whatever is financed in the future as new research and innovation activities really considers all of the aspects that are important to achieve this objective. So not just having a narrow view on the target, but really trying to capture all the different angles and the different impacts that this target can have on the society.